Hey, brothers and sisters.
What up, though, somebody?
Hey, somebody. Welcome back to
What's good? What's good?
With Jazz and RJ. Welcome back to Built for This Kingdom Marriage.
What was that? It sounded like you was about
Happy
to
New
beatbox.
Year to everyone. Happy New Year, guys. We pray that your New Year is well, that you have some clarity, that you hear what God is speaking to you in what to do in not just 2025, but January itself. And that you are not most importantly, but in your word. That you are in your word to hear from God. That's a great way to hear from God. Do you want to say something? Are you tapping me?
Tapping you for
Oh,
what?
I don't know. I thought you was meaning like, babe. You know. We're gonna get right into it.
No, that was the spirit tapping you. Saying let's get right into it, probably because we're
Okay.
chilling.
Well, we're gonna get right into it. The conversation we're gonna have today is actually something someone sent and asked us to speak on. So we're going to speak on it. And it's the gist of it is your spouse being your utmost priority. Now, I'm going to stop there because I would say in your marriage, but that's your utmost priority, right? So that's what we're talking about. All right. Now, I'm sure they sent the video in a way of asking that, asking that, like, do we believe that, right? But the video was centered around a conversation and the man saying that your spouse is the utmost priority. And he also mentioned about children, like how people switch it and make their children be the utmost priority, and that's not what marriage is, or that's not how it's supposed to be. So do we agree with that? I do agree that your spouse is your utmost priority, and the scripture that I have and is standing firm on when I say I believe that that is true is Genesis 2 and 24. You got Matthew 19, 5 through 6. You got Mark 10, 8 through 9, Ephesians 5 and 31, which they all say the same. That's what I'm rooted in. And I'll actually read it. Oh, I forgot what we're supposed to do. Habakkuk. So when we say Genesis, that means we're going all the way back to the beginning. Okay? So Genesis 2 and 24 says, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So do I believe that your spouse is your utmost, let me go back. Your spouse is your utmost priority in your marriage, relationship, life, or in your world, however you want to say it? Yes, I do believe that. Baby, you want to talk? Because I can break down the scripture if you want me to.
You in the flow?
Well, the reason I'm saying that, and I reference Genesis 2 and 24 and the other scriptures, is because it says, let me go up some. Okay, let's go to Genesis 2 and 21. And the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh in its place. I'm reading out the New King James Version. 22. Then the rib which the Lord had taken from man, he made into a woman, and he brought her to the man. 23. And Adam said, the husband said, this is now bones of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. 24. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. 25. And they were both naked, and the man and his wife were not ashamed. So, verse 24 is speaking of the man and wife becoming one. So, two are becoming together to become one. That's God math. So, if we are one, how can I say that my husband is not my utmost or top priority if we are one body, one mind, one sound, right? It's like, what is it, drumline? they said one band, one sound, but I'm saying one body, one flesh, one body, one sound, one mind. Meaning we are together as one. We make decisions according to, and we come, or the two of us come together and make one decision for the both of us, right? The two of us come together and we converse and we talk about whatever's going to go on in our household as one.
Team us. It's team
Oh,
us.
okay.
Everything we do so far as in, like my wife said, communication, any type of discussions, topics, anything, it's us. It's not just her decision, it's not just my decision. And that's one thing that um actually it's a lot of things, but that people, fail to forget, especially in a marriage or whatever. And me and my wife, we was talking about this earlier because we see like a lot of, well, not a lot of, but we hear a lot of women putting their kids first. Now you got now she over here got her teenage son going to his homecoming and prom and stuff like that. Is that what you said,
You
man?
jumping the gun though. Like,
Jumping the gun.
what's the reason you saying
But the
all
reason
that?
why I'm saying is that your husband is your husband and your spouse is your top priority. And reason why is because you got to understand that when you have these children, whatever, and like I'm going back off of when the guy he brought up the children, whatever, they gonna learn from us. So so us as parents, we have to make sure that we are okay. Are you okay? Are you all right? So when they see that, the boy's like, okay, this is what my dad did, or the girl's like, okay, this is what my mom did. Check on the husband, make sure he's good. This is in a relate. This is pretty much in the same category as submit. You both submitting to each other, okay? So once you do that, the kids are pretty much they seeing the example, so they're going to follow. So that's already pretty much the problem already solved right there. So
that just lets you know the order though, like the way you just explained it. It's before, and this is this is why we keep talking about how God, the original intent, or how we should be, right? But the order is gonna, even in that, the order is husband and wife, then you have children. So if that was first priority, marriage or husband and wife, when the new come along, that should not go under, or that should not fall down because new has come along. It should still be there. And I like how you said the children see. So the children are in place. The children is a fruit of the marriage, right? That was the intent. The children are the fruit of, so they're to look, like you said, to see what it means to have a marriage, what it means for mom and dad, however you want to say, relationship, what it means for that. So they know, they take that and run with it. They take that, and as adults, they go with it because that's literally what's gonna happen. If you when you think about putting your children as priority, they're literally gonna run when they get older, they out of there. So then if we did or took all that time making the children a priority, or what is it, a bent way of thinking, really, and then your children go off and leave, whomever, because what if it's not both parents? What if it's just the mother? Like, no, my children come first. Like, and I'm thinking too, as in being single. When you're single, okay. When you're a single mother and you say, okay, my children are my priority, or I'm doing what I'm doing for my children, first of all, it still should stem from you. You're doing what you're doing for you, and this is going to help your children. It's for the betterment of you. Your children need to see a healthy you, a whole you. So do it for you, first of all. But then, or if you have it in a way of you saying, I'm doing this for my children, I do believe a lot of, or that mindset, even when you get into a marriage or have a husband now or a wife now, that a lot of that stems from your people thinking about their childhood or what they may have went through, and you're trying to get that back through your children. Let me explain what I mean. So if your children are your top priority, that's your mindset. My children are my top priority. I'm doing this for my kids and all that. When you think about it and get down to the root of it, it's because of something that you feel like you lacked as a child. And that is why the order in which you think is prioritized, the children are at the top because of what your parents didn't do for you, or the lack thereof with the relationship between you and the parents. And I've seen this with my own eyes, or in conversation I can, a lot of when people say my kids get this, or I'm gonna get them this because I didn't have this and all that. So I know that's a part of where that comes from. And also it could be for women when you're single so long, like I said, that's the mentality. So you have to break that mindset. That has to be destroyed once you become one. And that's something that I had to go through
It's
myself.
the same ordeal for guys too as
That's
well.
why.
And I'm just saying, like, I mean, I heard and I seen. I'm gonna make sure my son got everything that he need and this and that, and yet and still, I understand what we're trying to do, but this is not what we need to do.
And just pay attention to, because what we think we're trying to do, we're still doing.
Right, we still
that
doing
what we think our parents did that we didn't want to do, we're still doing it.
It's just in reverse. It's that's all it is. Like, and then you have to understand too, like, you putting all this effort, and I'm talking about when you are a couple, you putting all this effort and this energy has been towards your kids to where now the separation from you and your spouse is going like this now. And I say this because I remember we was watching this, it was this TV show, and it was about, what was it called, like Black Couples or something like that.
I think it was called. Are you talking about the Black Love?
Black Love. And this one guy, he his wife said, how do you think I am, overall? And he said, you are a good mother. Ooh. And she looked and she was like, and he was, I mean, that was the honest truth. Like, you are a good mother. And that we have to fix that. We have to understand, like, our spouse is our number one priority. And again, because our kids are going to see the example, and as they keep growing up, they're going to see it, and then they be able to leave the house. They can be like, yo, my mom and my dad had a real strong marriage. Yeah, they gave me as much as they can, and I see why, but they communicated, they talked, they went on dates, they discussed everything. No matter what, they was right there, hand in hand, talking, discussing about any and everything that goes on outside of the marriage and inside the marriage. So
train up a child in the way he should go. He shall never part from it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it literally says, I'm gonna go to Matthew 19, verse 5 and 6, where it says the same. And for this Jesus said, thanks. Yeah. Jesus said, for this reason, verse 5, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Verse 6, so then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no man separate. No man includes your children. Yeah. No man includes your family members. No man includes your job or your boss at your job. No man includes the enemy. No man includes anyone.
Anybody.
Because Jesus is not there to separate. Jesus would never separate. That's how we are the one, or become one. Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. But that's how. So man includes any man. Man means me as the wife. If I done went astray and went another way in mind, or whatever I think I want to be happen, man means my husband. So it means ourselves as well. Don't let my mind, will, and emotions come in between what this should be. Don't let my husband's mind, will, and emotions, what I want to do, come in between versus what we've been doing, how it ought to be. Don't let no man, that's your children as well. Let me see. Hold on. God joined y'all together, so nothing should separate it, right? But it makes me think of too, no man, a human being, whether male or female. I know we know what it means, but man. No male or female. That means anyone. So when we say things like, oh, my children, my top priority in my marriage, you're letting man come between what God joined together. Okay, so with that being said, I just wanted to pause because that we are, like I said, our bent way of
And
thinking
you
or out
know,
of order way of thinking versus how God or he perceived it, how the origin, I'm sorry, his precepts, his thought, like what the principality, where what he made it to be. That's why we always say marriage is God's, it's his. So who are we to say? I'm not even gonna get into that because
I'm
I
gonna go
will.
back.
I
I'm gonna
will.
rewind it back,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna have to. I would say, and I say this as an example, just thinking about my mom being single and what you saying. Like now, if you're single, yeah, your kids are your
That
priority.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
Or
would
can
say
be.
to a certain extent. I
What,
mean,
when you're single?
when you're single, I wouldn't say. I would say like
I said at the end of the day, as you have to. It should, whatever we're doing should be for us or us first. That's what I was saying. Then your children still. It's
oh,
not. And then
okay.
I brought the example of
Oh, okay,
just how we think about
because
our
I was gonna
childhood.
say like because I know my mom, perfect example. She didn't give us everything what we need. She didn't give us everything
That you wanted,
and what that we
but
wanted,
what you
but she gave us
needed,
what
you
we
got.
needed. And
Yeah.
during the time, my mom, she went back to school, got her GED, and then she didn't stop. She ended up going right back to school, going to college to get her associates. She didn't stop. She was
Mm-hmm.
working. She didn't stop. She went back to school again. She didn't stop. So when I saw that, I took that as like, wow, like my mom, she's like relentless. Like she ain't playing with nobody. Like she on a mission. And that helped motivate me because I
Mm-hmm.
was into sports. So I transferred that that energy that she had, that spirit that
That
she had, and
mindset.
I just
Mm-hmm.
used it to when I playing basketball, football, baseball. So again, as an example, I mean,
So what we need to
yeah, what
do
we
for our
need.
children, or what we're doing for our children, and need to do for our children, is become a whole person, become healed, show them what it is to be an adult, show them what it is to be a mother, a father, a wife, a husband. That is what we need to be doing. Like that's what our children need from us, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things we should do for our children, we need to do for them. Show them the example, show them what it means. Show them what it means to heal. Show them what it means to be whole. So that's the good takeaway that you have from that, because those, I do agree with that. Those are the needs of what children need. Again, when we start thinking about what we're trying to do for our children, that comes from what we felt like we lacked as children, or what we didn't have. Now we're trying to get it back, or do it back, or live through our children, all kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not good, because if you have that mindset of it's my kids first, then what happens when you do get the marriage, when you do get the wife, the husband? Um, that's gonna be a not a stronghold, but
And you know
you
what?
gotta.
I just think about it. I remember before then in my single days, whatever. I used to think like, and I would say I don't know where this thinking came from. I used to think like a single mother that take care of her kid. I know she gonna take care of her man. That's what I used to think. I
Yeah,
used to
but it
think
can.
like
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why I used to think like that again, it all stems to my mom or whatever. And again, I don't know why I used to think that. Like, oh, I used to like have that thought in my head, like, dang, like
Guess what I just thought about. Go ahead.
what?
When you said that,
And like, I don't know why
oh, this
that
is so
like
good.
that came upon my head or whatever. Yet that's not necessarily true from what I learned
Right.
because of it's the mindset where the mom is at. You can look. You're on the outside looking in, like, man, she take care of her son. She take care of her daughter. She do everything, da da da. But that definitely can backfire. And I go
Listen
ahead.
to it in this way. So you saw, and I pray this makes sense. You saw your mom, and you said, "Oh, she gonna be a good wife, right? So even with you having that thought of she gonna be a good wife or she'll take care of a man well, from mother to son, that's how men can start to look at and view the woman in their life as a mother.
Okay.
Or that I'm looking at your wife as your wife, but you're viewing her as, and I know this is not subconsciously, but you viewing her as what your mama did, what your mama was supposed to be like. So you literally, I don't. Oh, should I go there? But I'm just saying, just think. Now you're viewing her as your mama, but then when you have arguments, you're like, "You not my mama,
right?
You not my mama," but you want her to be your mama. But you looked at what your mother did and think and transferred it to what a wife is supposed to be. So that backfired too.
That's why I say
it
could backfire. I'm glad you went there because you in this hezzy. You gotta.
I just don't want to get too far off.
You can't pump fake. You got to go for the touchdown, man.
I don't want to get too far.
We out here.
So look at that.
We in the field for real.
You said, "Oh, mama doing this for me. She gonna make a good wife." But what she did for her son, she can't necessarily do that with her husband. Exactly. That's not the same relationship.
That's why I say to a certain extent, it definitely can backfire. And I'm glad that you said that because,
man, this stuff run deep, y'all. Yeah, it run deep, and we think or feel like because of what we want to do and things like that. We're like, oh, it's not a big deal. Or yes, it is. Though marriage is between husband and wife, not husband and wife. Jesus in the center, on the side, up top, and but all then it's that
thing. Yeah,
two come together as one. Close the gap. There's nothing that's coming in between us, right? And then we have where we literally our children are under us or down here, and we literally bring our children wedge right up in the middle, or we'll allow that. Some people allow that, and that's not okay because again, your children is going to leave you.
Mm-hmm.
When they turn 18, when they ready to get married to their husband, wife, they deuces, they out of here. And then now you're still sitting here with a broken marriage, a dead marriage, a broken marriage, a dead marriage. And that's where all that talk comes from. Well, once the kids leave, then we can separate. And it's like, again, doing all this for your kids, or you thinking you're doing this for your children. And that can backfire too. Your children like, well, you showed me what it looked like to just be comfortable, or just be in something that I really shouldn't be in. Like that could be the takeaway they're getting. You,
it's deep.
This can go so many ways.
Yeah, it could go so many ways. It runs
so deep. Yeah. So again, the question was, do we feel like our spouse is our utmost priority?
So with that being said, we encourage you to comment. We encourage you to comment. Let us know how you feel with love. And also, share, like, so on and so forth, subscribe. And honestly, we just gonna go ahead and end it because it can go deep. But we would for real, we would definitely love to hear you guys' comments, what you have to say about it. But till then, we pray that you guys have a blessed day. And I didn't say it in the beginning, but Happy New Year. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Again, always put God first. Always put God first. Until then, peace.
Bye.